because I don't believe God would ever want us to suffer.
Yeah.
So suffering is a result of independence from God and the world we live in, living independent from God, which actually brings about situations which cause people to live less than the kind of lives that God wants. See, our destiny scroll is not a list of things that we do in life. It is our identity as sons and our working together with the Father for the Father's purposes to be outworked. It's not a prescriptive thing that you have to do something a particular way, and therefore, oh, your life is going to have suffering in it, therefore you've agreed to suffering before you came here. That would mean that God wanted you to suffer. He doesn't. So God has nothing bad for us to do or give to us. So in a sense, that is a result of our own choices and the choices of others around us and the world in which we live, which is obviously being restored. So ultimately, God wants to bring good out of everything. You know, and the good that he wants to bring is in spite of us most of the time, because we make decisions which are not the best. We do things, or other people do things to us, but God will always want to bring good out of it to bring us back to the fact that that can be redeemed and then used to help us with other people. You know, God will always try and redeem a situation and make something good out of it, and we'll learn from it. But no one agreed before they came into this realm in the spirit to go through a life of suffering or misery or disability or any of that, or abuse or any negative things that happened during this life. No one had that on their scroll. Their scroll contains their identity and their alignment as sons with the purposes of God. There's not specific things on the scroll that people tend to think of. It's a relational working out of our destiny, and what God has for us is a relationship with him that reveals who we are, and then we work in co-heirship with him for the establishing of his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. So I honestly do not believe in that whole teaching about thing, because it's a wrong understanding of God's character and nature. He's not like that, you know, and people who think that, I think, have a wrong view of God, in my opinion, and they're not really knowing the real God, because that real God does not want us to suffer. In fact, why did Jesus come? Jesus didn't come to bring suffering, did he? Jesus came to bring healing and wholeness and deliverance and freedom and salvation. If God wanted us to suffer, then Jesus would have come to bring suffering into the earth. Well, he didn't. He became, actually, it says he came to destroy the works of the evil one. And the works of the evil one, and evil there meaning poneros, which is hardship, toil, and labor of self-independent effort outside of relationship with God. And Jesus came to remove all of those sufferings, to remove all of that hardship and toil and labor, because he was like, come and follow me. Don't do it in your own strength. All who are weary and heavy laden of doing it in their own strength by dead works, come to me and find rest. So Jesus came with a whole different message, a whole different reality, calling people to follow him into freedom, in which they will discover who they are with the Father as a son, because Jesus introduces us to the Father. You can't come to the Father but through Jesus the Son. So he wants us to know our sonship, which will reveal our identity and then outwork our destiny, you know. And it's like, I think, is it Jeremiah 29:11 or something? I think something like that. You know, I know the plans I have for you, to prosper you, not to harm you. You know, but it doesn't mean that God has a whole specific set of plans that are in detail, essentially fate. It isn't like that. God has a purpose, an identity for us, and a purpose for us to outwork in relationship with him. And we get our sons to outwork that purpose in many, many different ways. And they're not prescriptive, they're creative. So we choose how to outwork God's purpose in our lives creatively through who we are and our redemptive gift and how we're wired, and also using the redemption of the experiences we go through to be able to relate to others who go through similar experiences and bring about comfort and care and concern. And I know God has nothing bad to plan for us. It's only good. And in the context, God knows the good he wants to bring into blessing, empowerment to succeed and prosper in who we are. So it's all about who we are, not what we do per se. You know, and a lot of people's understanding of a destiny scroll is more to do with, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I've got this ministry and I've got this vision. I'm going to work this. God is more interested in revealing who we are, revealing the vast sum of his thoughts about us that will equip us and empower us to be his sons, really, without all the detail in there. It's not a whole list of daily activities that we're all supposed to fulfill. And if we don't do it, we fail. It's a relationship to be had every day. That's really the key.